Let's give her a crack. 3, 2, 1. Good old Mexican lager right there.
On a Sunday afternoon, with our glasses in our hands, the hops and barley bloom in a land of craft and cans. Every sip a story shared, review and taste we dare with our Sunday sips. Sunday sips, every for a trip.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Sunday Sips. I'm your host, Kyle Lucas, and that is your host, Nick Woodard, the man himself. The beard that doesn't quit. Today, we are reviewing one of my personal favorite. Nick knows if there's one of these within arm's reach, I'm grabbing it. If there is decisions to be made on which beer Kyle is having, this is a top go-getter. This is for sure my favorite Mexican lager in the world. It's a good old Farmer's Valle. Right here, brewed in California, Princeton, California. Farmers Brewing's been around for a few years now. This is a Mexican, like I said, a Mexican lager, 5.5%, nice and crisp, super refreshing. They've got a what is it? Like a tap room in Chico. And these are very common beers for us to go get on a weekend. As far as Mexican lagers go, you can't go wrong. Corona's delicious. Modelo's delicious. I don't think Sierra Nevada has a Mexican lager. I don't think so.
They have a seasonal Sierra Vesa that they do.
They do have the Sierra Vesa. That's correct.
Which is not a year-round thing, but when it does come up, it's a good beer. But
there are other breweries in Chico. Ramble West, Secret Trail. They all have very good Mexican lagers, but this is by far my favorite.
It's an easy number one choice.
This is perfect for a day where you are mowing your lawn and you just want to crack a fresh one and have it by yourself with your boy. Doesn't matter. You don't even have to be mowing your lawn. You could just be sitting on your lawn.
You could be sitting on the lake in Whiskey Town.
Oof.
You could be, relaxing on the banks of Rawlins Lake. You could be, sitting in the river in Chico. And
you could be sitting in your bed crying over a breakup. This is still a fantastic beer to have. Fantastic beer to have.
So.
All right.
I mean, we're putting our biases all out there before we even break into this bad boy. So you wanna crack?
I mean, also, peep the farmers stuff. Your boy does work at a print shop, Upper Park Printing in Chico, California, and we do make a lot of farmers gear. So this is one of them. It's been touched by yours truly. It's been touched by yours truly, and it's been messed up by yours truly, and that's why I got it for free. So, I would, before we crack, I want to get your thoughts on the can, because I think the can's a really cool design.
I'll tell you what, the can is such a cool design that when Farmers was selling their custom designed cornhole boards, they had 3 different designs, and I knew immediately the design that I wanted. I mean, how can you not go with this design?
The sugar skull, yeah.
It's just badass.
It's like, I feel like this beer came out along with Farmers, like when they were introduced to Chico as like the brewery. I feel like this became an instant Farmers classic, and it's like one of their like top 5 beers. as it should be. But the the logo itself is very, very iconic now. So
Yeah,
let's give her.
especially in this region.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give her a crack. 3, 2, 1. Good old Mexican lager right there.
There we go, baby.
Very fresh. Right off the rip, a nice amber color, what you expect in a nice, fresh Mexican lager.
Like in Chico, California, in the back. There you go.
Ooh, yeah. Get that. It's got that amazing Mexican lager smell to it.
Yeah. It's. I mean, look, it's easy to make, and I don't want to say it's easy. It's not overly difficult to make a good Mexican lager.
It's not, and it shouldn't be.
It's a
it
simple
shouldn't be.
beer, but when you can perfect it, when you can make one that's really, really good, like it makes a difference. And
I'm gonna take 5 seconds real quick.
please.
5 seconds. Hold on. Nice. Got some nice lime.
For those who missed the technical difficulties, we had to pause so our boy could get a line, which makes that's a good move. It's a good move.
If you got them, you get lime in your Mexican lager.
100%.
So as we were saying, right off the rip, the smell is fantastic. It just already smells refreshing. The color is very, very palatable, very exciting to look at. All right, let's just give it a go.
Let's give it a taste. Why not?
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, buddy. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the stuff.
Yeah. So,
If you want to know where the stuff is, it's right here. This can has the stuff.
that's where the stuff lives, huh?
Stuff resides.
Oh, Lord.
That's so good.
So, I'm going to read to you some details straight off the Farmers Brewing website.
Give it to me.
Named by our farm crew and perfected by our brewers, Valle is a flavorful and refreshing Mexican lager. It's brewed with 3 distinct grains, some of which are grown and harvested on our family farm. Valle is fermented cold for a clean, crisp flavor. Drink it straight up or with a slice of lemon or lime. So you're ahead of the curve.
Gotta have it.
So they technically describe it as a Vienna lager style beer, which is kind of where most Mexican lagers fall into. ABV, alcohol by volume, 5.5%.
High five.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. We should stop doing this, but I'm gonna ask you.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't stop doing this.
Do you think you can give me a guess on where the IBU ranking stands for the Farmers Valle?
I think we should keep doing this because I think we could get a little better at guessing this, or I could get a little better. I'm gonna put this at like a 20.
You are okay. You're already getting way better.
See,
15 IBUs.
there you go. There you go. It's not, dude. It's not, I mean,
not
it's a
a bitter
Mexican
beer.
lager. It's not overly bitter. It's classically bitter. It's more like carbonated water, but like more refreshing, just with that very like classic flavor. And this particular classic flavor of the farmer's version of a Mexican lager is they've just accented everything to 100, and in such a good way. I didn't know that you could take a Mexican lager I love Modelos and Coronas and make it even better, and they for sure knocked it out of the park with it. They somehow made something refreshing more refreshing. So Obviously, it's not going to be a super bitter beer. Lagers usually aren't, compared to what we rank on this podcast. But it's a nice drawback from like what on our last episode we did like a 9.5%. It's a nice drawback to have something that doesn't completely put you on your ass, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
You could easily go fishing, go camping, whatever, have a 6-pack to yourself on a night, and your boy can also have a 6-pack. And they do sell these in 12ers, just so you know.
That's an important detail right there. No, it's a damn good beer. It's one of those beers. So, we'll have friends that come up from time to time that aren't craft beer drinkers.
Right.
But I know that they'll drink a Corona or they'll have a Modelo from time to time, and I'm like, hey, like, why don't you try the Farmer's Valle? Because it's the closest thing you're gonna get to like a Corona, but it's still a craft beer. Like it's still, something that's brewed locally. It's got, real local ingredients, and it tastes just like a Mexican lager that you know and love, but just better. Like if you're giving me the option of a Corona or a Valle, like 10 times out of 10, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Valle. And that's no slam on Corona. It's just
nothing wrong with
it's just the way it is. Just the way it's got to be. This is also we always speak about Sierra Nevada because it is the home team. This is also the home team.
Oh yeah.
The Sierra Nevada is just a more classic home team, if you will. These are the new kids in town that are running the block. They're swinging with the big boys now,
and I'll tell you what,
they're doing it well.
They're moving quick.
They're doing it very well.
You talked earlier about they've been brewing for a few years now. They actually their first batch of beer. This is straight from their website. First batch of beer was January 13th, 2020.
Wow.
So it's been 4 years, and they're already
legitimately been a few years. Yeah.
They're already a regional beer.
Yeah.
They are all up and down Northern California easily. Like I see these beers in my hometown of Tracy, California, 3 hours south. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see it at different stadiums now, depending on where you go.
We just when we went to go see Luke Combs.
Right.
They have 2 taps of Sierra Nevada and 2 taps of Farmers. Like immediately.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the liquor store somewhere, like when I went to get these. This Farmers beers take up just the same amount of space as Sierra Nevada, and it's just their own big section. Sierra Nevada's one row, Farmers one row, and they're just popular.
Yeah, and I think to get that much traction that quickly, you have to be doing something right, and they definitely are.
Yeah,
they're making a good beer.
I also attribute it to that Farmers doesn't really step on the toes of Sierra Nevada, and vice versa. Like you don't see Sierra Nevada has that Sierra Vesa that you were talking about,
right?
But they don't really try and outdo the Valle.
They're doing different things.
Right? They don't do that, and then Farmers doesn't try and outdo Pale Ale, which is a futile effort if you try anyway.
No, of course. I would say most of the beers that Farmers makes, and there are some exceptions, but most of the beers that Farmers makes are geared towards being lighter, more crushable type beers. I'm looking at their core 5. They call it the Farmers 5. It's Sun Up to Sundown, which is a West Coast IPA.
Wait. Let me guess these.
Please.
Let me guess these. So you gave me one. Sun Up to Sundown. Valle is definitely one of them. Farmer's Light's got to be in there. Garage Dweller, the good old hazy, and this one's what?
It's similar to one that's already been mentioned, like in terms of can design.
Is it similar to the Farmer's Light?
No.
What is it similar to?
It's similar to the Sun Up to Sundown in terms of can design.
Ooh. I'm not going to do.
We don't drink a lot of these.
I'm not going to fill this with dead air just by me trying to think. So go ahead.
It's a Farmer's 530.
Oh, it's the 530.
It's the unfiltered wheat ale.
Yeah, it's got the rooster on it.
I think all of these beers outside of the Garage Dweller come in at like 5.5% or under.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they specialize in making super drinkable beers that you can just crush all day long. Like
right.
Their West Coast IPA. Okay, I was incorrect. Their West Coast IPA, the Sun Up the Sun Down, is a 6% beer.
Sure, I mean that's still
not bad.
Still relatively low compared to Sierra Nevada's lineup.
They have and we're not even getting into the summer kickback of it all, which is a seasonal beer.
Right.
But it might.
You love it. You've been crushing summer kickbacks all summer long.
I love a kickback.
You even I remember you made a remark to me when we got back from Rollins or something. We were coming back from Whiskey Town. Maybe I think it was Whiskey Town.
Yeah.
I think it was Whiskey Town, and you were like, you know what, dude? I've been absolutely just on one with the summer kickbacks.
Yeah. I love Sierra Nevada Summerfest.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that really, really loves that beer. But summer kickback, it's a lemon lager. It's got a hint of lemon in there that just really makes it that much, just that much more crushable.
It's that shandy flavor, dude.
It's an ABV. It's a 5% ABV. It's got 14 IBUs. It's a really good beer.
It's a very drinkable beer. You can sip it, you can drink it, you can chug it. It's whatever. That being said, all summer long we were also crushing Summerfest right along with it. 100%, so 100%. You don't have to feel bad in that aspect. I do want to speak on Garage Dweller for a second because we brought up that 5. Just a note in my head that popped up is it's very weird to think that Garage Dweller and Hazy from Sierra Nevada can share the same space, and they've been doing it very well. Like people obviously really like having Garage Dweller and Hazy in their fridge at the same time. 100%. Like the sales are there for both. They're both crushing it. They're both one of their top selling beers. Right. And I would argue that Hazy's probably a little bit more popular just because of the name brand and everything. But they are different in their own ways, and they are delicious in their own ways. And I would be upset if I didn't have Hazy and Garage Dweller in my fridge. Right. Right.
And it's one of those things. So we've been fortunate enough to be around since the beginning of Farmers in Chico, in the sense that they opened their tap room in Chico a few years ago. We were obviously living in town, so we got to go to the tap room kind of when it first opened, check things out. And when we first got there, one of the things that was missing was a hazy IPA. They did not have a hazy IPA.
Right.
And then the rumors started to trickle in that they were working on something, that there might be a hazy in the pipeline. And we'd be following them on Instagram, waiting for the notification, and it's like, hey, we've got a hazy coming soon. And we had tempered expectations because the bar is set so high in this town.
With hazy, yeah.
With hazy, because you have Sierra Nevada, which makes probably a gold. I keep using the word gold standard with Sierra.
It is a gold standard. Hazy is
a gold standard. It's their number one selling beer. It's
it beat Pale Ale. That's insane.
Probably one of the most iconic beers in the world. The Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Period.
Sierra Nevada does more sales with the hazy than it does with the pale ale, which is nuts. Then you also have the much more local breweries that do really good hazies. I mean, we have a brewery
Secret Trails is
will be featured
amazing
on this podcast for sure.
Absolutely.
It's called Secret Trail Brewing Company. They do several different hazies that are fantastic. We have
Ramble West.
Ramble West does very good hazies.
Very Pioneer Haze.
Pioneer Haze. There's another haze that I'm thinking of that
They do. They have two.
Yeah, they have
I can't remember. The name escapes me right now.
Yeah.
But the Pioneer Haze was first, and then they came out with the second one.
So,
I do believe
When,
the second one is a little more mosaic,
yeah, yeah,
and I think mosaic might be in the name somewhere. But whatever.
maybe.
I
Anyways,
digress.
anyways, when Farmers came out with the Garage Dweller Hazy
Mm.
IPA, it was selling so fast they couldn't keep it in stock in the Chico
Yeah,
at the Chico tap room,
it was out
at the
a
Chico
couple times.
restaurant, the Chico version of the Farmers restaurant. They we went there for a solid like 3 weeks at least, like trying to get dinner and like asked for the garage dweller. Like, yeah, man, sorry, it sold out already.
I had a homie that worked there, Kyle,
Yeah,
and he was texting me. I would text him one time. And we were like, "Is it back?" And he's like, "Nah." And we were like,
so
"Rough."
so when they started selling it in cans, because that was a whole process too. They had it on tap, and
Mm.
then people were waiting for it to come out in cans. And it finally came out in cans. We bought a case and made sure we had Garage Dweller in the fridge at all times because
So good.
it is that good of a hazy, which is
It
so
really is.
interesting because they've never been a brewery that's been known for their hazies. They've done
Right.
lighter beers, like we've said, lighter, really palatable, really tasty, but lighter beers. They came out with a hazy, excuse me, that in my mind rivals the Sierra Nevada hazy little thing.
It does. It really does. And the fact that, like I said, the fact that there's room for both of them, and it's welcomed. It's welcomed. The competition between the two is very good for both brands. It's very good for beer drinkers. The the competition between any brewery that come out with the same style of beer is always healthy for locale, but there's no like clear winner when it comes to those in my mind. If you tell me, if Nick, if you were we were sitting in your backyard or something, you had a hazy and a garage dweller, right? And you're like, which one do you want? Which one am I gonna have? It's a coin toss. Just give me the first one that you have. I don't care. Um, Back to this Valle.
Please.
I can't imagine not just drinking 6 of these. This is so good. It's so delicious. This is a beer. The last episode we did was a Voodoo Ranger, the tropical IPA.
Tropic Force. Yep.
Tropic Force. That's right. That is not something you can drink a 6-pack of. I made the comment of like playing cornhole and like we would get too drunk to throw the bags or whatever. This, my friend, I could split a 6-pack with you. I think we have before.
Couple
And
6-packs, yeah.
maybe, and we could easily get through a few games. It's that refreshing. It makes a weekend afternoon that much more enjoyable. I would bring this. This is a nice like Voodoo Ranger, the one we had, and like the even go back to our first episode, the teaser, the Pliny the Younger. Yeah. The Younger. Those aren't like something I can bring to like a festivity. I can't bring that to a party if my friend's throwing it. Like that's just kind of weird to like bring that high of a beer alcohol percentage to a beer to a party. This, you could show up with a 12-pack, show up with a 6-pack, depending on how many people are there, and it will be invited in to the fullest extent.
100%.
I can't imagine people not liking this beer unless they don't like Mexican lagers.
Yeah.
And that's some people don't like Mexican lagers, and you know what? You probably won't like this one.
Yeah.
But if you do, you can't help but like it. Very good.
I think for my money, it's a beer that we always bring on camping trips, no matter what.
Always.
It's not the main beer. I'd say when we go on camping trips, most of our camping trips are in the summer. We're doing a summer lager, a summer Sierra Nevada Summerfest, maybe even a farmer's
Summer kickback.
But we always bring some Valle. And you know what never comes back with us in the cooler after the camping trip? The Valle.
Valle
Because,
or kickbacks.
Because or kickbacks, but still,
Yeah.
the Valles get crushed, and there's a
Yeah.
reason for that because they are that goddamn drinkable.
It really, dude. Even when we're like camping at Whiskey Town or Rollins, right? Like I can somehow remember, just when you're getting into that really nice slip zone where you're like, I'm that zone. You're like, I'm crushing beers, and you see a couple of them on the top of the cooler. I'm grabbing 3 of those things, and I'm just canning them. I'm just sculling them back to back to back.
100%.
I'm going in it, and I'm not gonna feel that bad in the morning. These are gonna be hydration. These are gonna be good beers to drink. I would like to, because we did compare the hazies on this episode, which we're not even drinking, which we will get to. We will get to in future episodes.
Of course.
I want to compare this to the Sierra Nevada from Sierra Nevada, because I want to hear your thoughts first. Because this is gonna hurt. Because I think I know your answer, and I think it's gonna hurt you to say it.
I mean, it's tough to say because Sierra Nevada doesn't. I don't. It's hard to say it's an afterthought for them, but it's kind of an afterthought as far as
it is
brewing a Mexican lager. Like it's not a priority for them.
It was. I feel like it's.
The Valle is one of Farmer's top 5. It's like one of their core
right.
beers.
Right.
They do this year round. So with that being said, with that disclaimer out there, Valle is above and beyond the Obscura Vesa.
That's not to say that Sierra Vesa is not bad at all by any means.
It's a good beer. It's a good
I would love to have a Sierra Vesa.
But if you're giving me the option, I'm doing Valle every single day.
I feel like this, and this is not to poop on Sierra Nevada whatsoever. I feel like Sierra Vesa is kind of just filling out the punch card for them.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Filling out that bingo card.
It's a diversity hire.
Right. Cut that. So
no, I don't think it's that bad to say.
Anyway, yeah, it's Disney would definitely put him in a lead role. And this is not filling out the punch card for Farmers. It does hit that mark, but it is definitely a boss. It is someone who, if this was on the payroll at Farmers, they would get benefits. They'd be full-time. They'd be running shows. This is fantastic beer.
100%. So I think we've gone this long. We haven't actually scored this beer.
We got to get around to that.
And this is going to fall into, we're going to make it our own Mexican lager category because...
Absolutely.
I feel like a Mexican lager is markedly different than a straight-up lager.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's plenty of lagers out there that... Farmers makes another lager. They make the Farmers Light, which is a lager. And it's an incredibly different beer than the Valle. So I think Mexican lagers got to stand on their own.
And we're gonna be able to do plenty of Mexican lagers 100%. On this pod, because that's what we're always trying to hit the mark of is can we make a category of it if we have enough volume?
Right. Is there a market there that we can explore?
There's definitely a market. So I'll let you go first on this one.
Ooh, okay.
You know what? Let's compare this not to Sierra Vesa. Let's compare this to do you like Corona or Modelo better?
Corona better, for sure.
So let's put this as a Corona.
Well, I like Corona in a bottle better. And there's no scientific explanation for the cans to be worse.
Terrible.
Like cans in a lot of senses are supposed to be better tasting than bottles. That's a common misconception. People think
Corona are
going to taste better than cans, but for some reason for some reason, Corona in a can tastes way worse than Corona
It's
in a bottle.
so bad.
There's
It's so
There's
bad.
no scientific basis for this, but it's just my anecdotal evidence.
Dude,
Every
it's
time I've had Corona in a can, I'm like, what am I drinking right now?
I'm right there with you. I've had it multiple occasions, whether it be me, I don't really purchase it, but if someone gives it to me, it's just so off. So off. Let's put it, I would think like a Corona would be around like a 6 or so, somewhere around that.
Sure. I think that's fine.
Maybe we'll rate it higher later, but like if you're comparing it to that, what would you give this thing?
For me, I think it's an 8.25.
Nice.
I think that's a really valid score. It's high. It's in the 8s, which is huge. A beer in the 8s means it's a beer you should be able to drink all the time, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I can't really I can't go above that because
Sure.
it's a great beer. It's a great beer for the situations we put it in. But if you, it doesn't punch outside of its weight class super well.
Right.
Like
right.
I wouldn't if I'm given the option of having a Garage Dweller or a Valle, I'm gonna go Garage Dweller every time. Just because the flavor is there. And I do love a Valle. I do love a Mexican lager, but I think it's got a time and a place. And that time and the place is somewhere near the water on a nice hot day, and it's the most refreshing thing in your cooler that you can grab. And for that, it's an 8.25 for me.
That's a good score. You gave a great explanation for that score too. As for my score, there is personal bias in this because it is one of my favorite beers, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use that personal bias. I'm gonna go flat 9.
Damn.
I'm going high. Damn. I'm going 9. I'm going 9. I now hold the record.
That's our first 9 score.
First 9 score.
Yeah.
You're not gonna now listen. You're not gonna get many 9s out of me. You're not gonna get many highs. This is gonna be one of them. This is gonna be one.
I think that's valid.
If this is, I've seen your beer fridge, Nick, and if this is in the very back of your fridge, I'm clawing to get back there, to get towards this beer. You know what I mean? I'm not just settling for something else in the front. Personally, like when we go camping or something, I'm like, Nick, you better, if there's one Valle in there, you better claw in there and get me that Valle. This is one that I would go to, if a store didn't have this for some reason, I would go to a different store and try and pick it up.
That is saying something.
It really is. It really is. Just because it's that good. I mean, I won't travel. You know, it's not a 10, but I'll make, if I really want to buy I will go out of my way to get it.
Yeah.
First 9 on the pod.
First 9 on the pod. I think that's as good of a note as we can end on. I mean,
I think collectively this is the highest beer that we've rated.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of personal bias in this on both sides because we've drank this beer just so much. Like the last episode was a beer that we hadn't tasted before at all, and I still really like that beer. But this one, there's memories attached to it. There's experiences attached to it. It's going to be rated high, and I think that's very justified. And I hope people, if you can get it in your area, give it a shot. It is an incredible alternative to your Coronas, your Modelos, your standard, box store Mexican lagers. Like this is a great beer. Comes from a solid local craft brewery. There's no reason not to put it in your fridge and see what happens.
Yeah. I like it. I looked it up. Valle means valley in Spanish. We're from the valley. And little closing thought, that's really hits home for us. So from Nick and I, crack one for us and we'll crack one for you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
From citrus zest to dark night, we unravel flavors lore. Mosaic dreams take flight of IPAs and we adore. Raise a toast to what's new here in the world of craft beer with Sunday sips, Sunday sips. Every pour a trip with our Sunday sips. Each note we hear as we sip and cheer, craft beer's near, Sunday's treasure's clear with our Sunday sips. Sunday sips, every pour a trip with a Sunday.